Now, if there's too much ups and downs and I need to find an area where I'm looking for support, resistance levels, and I just want to do it really quick, I'll go to the 3-day. And then for the larger time frame, I'll do the weekly. So whenever we're doing top-down analysis, my system, weekly, daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, 15 minute, and that's it. And each time I'm doing this, I'm looking at my indicators, and we're going to go over the indicators in a moment. I'm looking at my indicators to see if there's any divergence. Now, how do we add all of these? You go to this drop-down box, and depending on your subscription, depends on how many you can have, and if you could make a custom interval. So if I wanted to, I can do the 1 second. Now, once you hit the star, it'll show up here. You can see I have stars. So let's say I want the 3 minute. If I click on the 3 minute, it goes in sequential order. So now here's my 3 minute, but I don't want the 3 minute. So I'm gonna take that off. Then you can come all the way down here. We have the intervals of hours, days, ranges. I don't do this one. Not sure what this is. I never used it. Don't need to use it. Now, let's say we want a 17 hour for whatever reason. We want a 17 hour. What we can do, depending on your subscription, you can come up here, click in this general area, and I want to do hours. So I'm going to go hours, and the intervals, I want 17. And I click add, and now it adds it right here. So I can star it if it comes up here, unstar it, goes away. If I don't need this, I'll just put the trash, and then it goes away. So this is how I have all of my times here that I use. Next, we're going to cover the candles. So if you do the drop down for the bar style, you can do candles, you can do lines. Now, when I first started, I would use the lines. This was really helpful for me to find divergence. This was really helpful for me to find patterns and everything else because there's no wicks. It's simply a line. So if I click on this, and you can do whatever one you want, however you want it. If you prefer this one for whatever reason, do research, guys. DYOR. Type this name and then see what it is. See how it helps. See why traders use this versus other stuff. For me personally, I just use my regular candles. Let's say I want to do the line. Pay attention to the wicks. I'm going to do the line and the wicks go away. Now, of course, if you try to double click it here, you can see that I have mine in purple. I have the close, and you can do some more things on here. I'm going to go into the settings in just a moment, but let's say I don't want this. So I can come back over here to the drop-down menu and go back to my candles. Now, as you notice, I do have the bar here, or rather the lines, and then my regular candles because I have a star. If you do a bunch of stars, it'll fill this up. So the next one we're looking at is indicators. For this, we can do the drop down, and these are my favorites. These are all of my favorites throughout the years that I've been doing this. These are my favorites. Do I use them all? Nope, sure don't. But there will be times where I was looking at a particular thing and I would favor it. That way it would be really easy for me to find it again. Now, if you want to find an indicator, you can come over here to indicators, and let's say you want a indicator that has a lot of moving averages. So what you can just do is type in moving averages, and there's a lot in here. Now you're going to see some that have more than others. For example, this one has the 7, 30, 50, 100, 200. Some of these you're able to configure to your own liking. Some you're not. So this is one thing that's very important to do. Here's a multi-moving average. So let's go ahead and click on this one. Quadruple. So there's 4 for sure. So let's go ahead and click on this. And once we click on it, of course, we see that there's a bunch of things that we can change. Now on this, we have, let's go ahead and exit this. Let's go ahead and go to our moving averages, which is there, 4 moving average. We can hide it. We can show it. We can come over here to the settings, and we see that the first one, second one, third one, fourth one, they're not labeled, but it's just 1 through 4. These are the colors. If we go to the inputs, we can see that the first one is this. If we want to change it to 11 or 9 or 21 or whatever, then you can do that. 9, 50, 100, 200, and the source is close. So you can come over here. If you click in the box, you can adjust the thickness, also the opacity. And this one is just how do you want to see it. So I would recommend just leaving it as a line. You can do it as an area if you like, but I don't recommend that. So I just use it as a line. And then same thing here, you can save it as default. So anytime you open this particular one, it saves it as default. Now I do want to show you a trick. While I'm here, I'm going to give you a pro tip. Let's go ahead and go back over here. Let's go moving averages. Now some indicators have this and some don't. If it does not have a name over here, that means that it is from TradingView. If it has a name, then that means somebody created it. So I'm going to look at moving average simple. I'm going to click on this. It's going to add it to my chart. And I'm going to do one more of that. Now, again, you don't want to do this if you have very limited indicators due to your settings or due to your subscription. So if you have a subscription that is on the lower tier, you have a limited amount of indicators you can use at one time. Let's go ahead and do moving averages. And we're going to do simple again. And the reason I'm doing this, let's go ahead and hide this one. And let's go ahead and go to the settings. So we have MA, so moving average, and you can do these if you like. We're going to go to input. For this one, I want this to show the 9 moving average. So for the pro tip on this, you come down here to the time frame. You go to, let's say I want to know what the 9 moving average is on the daily, regardless of what time frame I'm on the chart. Right now I'm on the daily. So I want to know what the 4-hour looks like. So I moved it over, and then now I'm going to say, now I'm going to go to this next one that I have, and you can see right here, this tells you that this is the 4-hour. This is in minutes. Let's go over here and let's do the 9 SMA. And for this one, I want to do it, even though I'm on the daily time frame. So I want to know what the weekly is. And I'm going to go to style, and I'm going to change the color. That way I don't get confused, and I'll make it a yellow, and I'll make it really thick. That way I know it's a higher time frame. And then I say, so right now on the daily time frame, let's go over here and let's show this one again. So here, going here, 4-hour, let's go to style, and let's click on this. Let's make this one pretty thick as well. Opacity is good. And you can see that it's right in here. So I'm going to click OK. Now, if I go to the 4-hour time frame, these do not move because they're based off of the set time that we did. If I go to the 15-minute time frame, once again, those areas that I just showed are in the same spot. If I go to the 3-day time frame, so I'm sure you get the picture. These are in the same spot, regardless of what time frame you're on, because they're using the set time frame you set. All right, so that's just a pro tip for you. Next, indicators. Of course, you can do the star. So whatever you like, you can click on the star. You have your personal one. What's personal? So I guess these are all scripts that either I've done or I favored, I guess. Some of my buddies, they do scripts, and they'll send them to me. Next, we have technicals. So this is really cool. So in the indicators, when you go to technicals, you can see there's a script name called 24-hour volume. There is different things here, and just click them, see what they do. Bollinger Bands, everything else. There's strategies. So there's a greedy strategy. I don't know any of these things, but there's a MACD strategy. There's RSI strategy. So there's a bunch of different ones that you can click on and see if it works, see if it helps you. Profile. There's a session volume profile and a visible range volume profile. Again, this all depends on what tier you have as a membership. Next, we have patterns. This is pretty cool. For here, you can select if you want, let's say bullish. You only want bullish flags. So you click on this and it'll show you on the chart a bullish flag without having to do or knowing how to do a bull flag. You don't need to know, the chart will automatically do it. Now, sometimes it's a little messy, but other times it's pretty good as far as what I would consider a bull flag. We have cup and handle. We have double top, double bottom. We have a whole bunch triple top. So doji, as far as candlestick patterns, you have doji star. You have engulfing. You have falling 3. So there's a bunch in here. And if you select a whole bunch of them, your chart's going to get really messy, just to let you know. But the best part about this, we're pretty much done with this. You can go to financials, nothing here. Community, I'm guessing these are editor's picks for all these different ones. So you can click on them and see if you like them. And not only that, but make sure to put the star so it goes on your favorites. Invite only, that's paid indicators. But let's say your chart gets really messy. You can make sure that you do your drop down. And let's say you want to hide your dojis and your cup and handles and maybe your flags, if you have a whole bunch of them. And you can just go through the chart and see. So this is a doji. See how it had the D on there? This is a doji candle. And then if you like, you can also just research, what is a doji candle? How does it benefit the trader? And DYOR, I strongly recommend doing that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and delete this one as well, delete this one as well. And so I'm going to delete all these because I don't need them. Now, let's say for whatever reason, you want to hide your price action. You come over here, you hover over it, you go to the 3 dots, you come to the bottom and it says hide. Now, one thing that I absolutely love doing is hiding my indicators. The way I do that is I double click on the chart and they go away. I double click again and they reappear. Now, let's say there's so many different things that you can do with TradingView. It's amazing. Now, let's say you have indicators that you want to have on a template. There are certain indicators. Let's say you have one that has all your patterns. You have one that has your MACD, your RSI, your volume. You have one that has your fixed different, let's just say different indicators. Or what you do, let's go ahead and what you would do, let's just go ahead and throw some indicators on here really quick. So I'm gonna put this one. So these are indicators, and let's say I want these indicators to be as a saved template. We come over here to this template indicator, we click on it, and then now we can save this template indicator. And I'm going to put this one test, but you can put 1 or 2 or whatever. Now, whenever you save this, it only saves the first character. So that's very important. So for me, I have mine M, which is my vector candles, C, which is clean. If you hover over it, you can see what it is, 0. And then here I just started doing, I'm going to do this one in this order. And then X is all of my indicators that I really like. So you go to save, and then now it is saved in there. Now you may notice that it's not up here. The reason it's not up here is because we didn't favor it. Whenever you favor anything, it'll show up. Like we favored here, we do the same here. We go back to our templates and we find our test. This is our most recent one. We can do the star, and now here's our T. And then if you want to have the T up front, I haven't figured out how to do that, but I'm assuming that you would have to just delete it and then do it again. Let's see if I right click, nothing happens. Go to open templates. Can I drag this? Nope, I can't drag them. I was thinking maybe I can drag them or something, but you know what you can do. So here we go. So for us to have this to the front, I believe we can uncheck it and then make the star. So I would have to uncheck my other ones and then check this one and then check this. And then now I just change the order. So that's one way you can do it too. You just unstar them and then star them in the order you want them. So right now I'm going to go ahead and delete this because I don't want that. I'll make sure to delete this. So now we've covered the templates. Now let's go to alerts. Now before we do that, we were talking about indicators. So I'm going to go to my clean indicator and I have my volume here on its own pane. That way volume is not interacting with my price action. The way I do that is first, of course, when you first start opening your chart, you're going to have volume on your chart. But since I don't have mine, I'm going to go ahead and bring this up. This one is from TradingView because it has no name. So I'm going to click on this. This is the chart. I don't want it interacting. See how it interacts with my, I don't want that. So what I do is I right click on the volume, move to new pane above, existing pane below, or new pane below. I want to do it new pane below. So now it's on its own window. And here I can adjust it. While we're looking at the indicators, We can also come over here. If we just hover over, we can see that it has auto. So it's going to auto fit on the screen. Or we can go to logarithmic. I don't do logarithmic, but for auto, I always have it on auto. And then the double arrows come out. I can click, drag up. Now I have to click in here in the window and drag up so that I can see the price action, or I can see this. Now, if this is too big, I just come over here again and I readjust it, and then now we're good. Now, if I want to delete this, there used to be an area where I can delete over here, but now you come over here and you can hit the delete button, and you also have more options. You can move it up or move it existing pane below or above, but I just want to take this one off. So I'm just going to delete it. All right. So now let's go to alerts. You can literally set alerts on everything. Let's say I want to know if the volume comes down. So I'm going to, let's just say this. Here we have this level, then it comes up, create this level. Here's a level down here. I want to know if the volume goes below this level. So I'm just going to right click in this area. Then I'm going to go to set alert on volume for this coin. So I'm going to click on this, and it's just confirming. We're going, condition is volume, crossing. You can go over here and say you want it crossing up, crossing down only. There's a bunch of different options for you. Then only once, and then you have more options. And then you can actually name this crossing volume. So when your alert goes off, you know that because you labeled it exactly what it is. You also have notifications. You can be notified in your app or in the app for the phone. You can be, there's more notifications sent to your email, everything else. Do not ask me about this. I've done it once. It was a headache to do. It took me multiple hours to do it. If you know how to do this, great. If you don't know how, you don't need to. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about this one. And then, of course, your sounds. You have a bunch of different options. They added more on these past few updates that they've done. And then only once. Do you want it every 5 seconds? Do you want until you click on it to say, I know what it is? I only have mine for once. And then you can have this as well. And once you're done with all that, you can say create. For this one, I am not going to do that. So I'm going to click on cancel. Same thing here. You can click if you want to know if it's coming into overbought. You can right click. You can go to add alert. And then when it's crossing the value of 70. So now I can know if it is in overbought territory, whether it enters or leaves depending on the crossing. And if I only wanted to alert when it goes up, well, then we just put crossing up. And then, of course, the expiration, that depends also on your membership. Some of them, I believe there's a limit on. It's been so long since I had the very first one. But here I can set limits or what have you. Moving on. I'm not going to do this alert, but you can also create the alert just like I showed you. And then, of course, the same thing with this one. Now, one thing that we will be doing in the future is we will be setting alerts on our moving averages. Now, with the moving averages, you can do it to where you have a certain moving average crossing above or below. So let's go ahead and double click on our moving average, and we can see all the stuff here. Now, if we right click on our moving average, now we get the option. We can set an alert. So I'm going to set an alert on the moving average. Now, because this one is the 5 SMA, or you can have an indicator that has 4 of them, or what have you, which is better because you're using up all your slots for the indicator. This one has 5 of them. Now, what do I want it to do? Well, I want to use this indicator, which is the 5, and you can change this, but I want it the 5 SMAs, and I want to know when my SMA 1 is crossing either up or down, or just crossing in general, the value, and I want to do the moving average. So I'm going to the moving average, and I want to know when it crosses my SMA 2. So let's say my SMA 1 is my 9 moving average, my SMA 2 is my 50. So when the 9 crosses the 50, either way, I'm going to get alerted. So this is really good. And let's say you want to get alerted when the price action crosses the 50. So this is my 50. I come over here and I can go price. When the price crosses my SMA, so my 5 SMAs, which one do I want? I wanted to know when it's the 50 is being crossed, and then that way I know to sell when that time comes. This is going to be vital for us to take in profit. So make sure to write that down. So you can go create, but I'm not going to create it. You can also set alerts on your drawing tools. So for example, here's our horizontal array. I want to know if the price action comes down here. So I click on this, and of course, here's my horizontal array. I can come up here to the alert, and then same thing, I can set my alert, I can name it, check for a bounce or whatever you want to name it for. And then same scenario, we have all this. Once you click create, and only after it's created, you're going to see a little alarm clock. Now this color will coincide with the color of your bar. So if I change my bar to an orange, this also changes. Now, what I like to do is I actually have a template. So with my template, I have my set alert. And this saves me time. Now, in order to create a template, and this is for all of these that allow a template. Some allow templates, some don't. The ones that do, you'll find it based off of the settings. So let's say I want this one, and I wanted to say sold 50%. This is what I wanted to say. I want this to be in white, and I want it bold. I want it in the middle, and I want it in the center. Now I'm going to save this, save as, and then I'm going to say test, because this is just my test. You can name it whatever you like, and then I'm going to hit save. Now, if I ever want to do this one again, I can come over here to my array, and it's only for your array tool. It's not for any other tools. So I go here, I come up to my templates. Now I can go to my test, and my test is down here. Now, if you have an exclamation point in front of this, well, it shoots it up to the top. So if I go to test, there it is. So it's going to save you a lot of time. This is very time saving. Next, we have our trend line. So let's say we're doing a trend line from here to here. Of course, you can also use the magnet tool so it snaps in place. See how it snapped? And let's say we want this one to snap in place. But I want it to extend. And I really want to make sure that these are in the right place. So what I can do is I can go to my settings. And this is for every single tool that you have. Go to the settings and see what it is. So here we can go to style. We can say, you can move this over by clicking and dragging. I want to extend this to the left. I want to extend this to the right. I want to have the price label, and this is right here. I personally do not recommend this because it gets really messy. So I uncheck that. Price range. These, I don't know what it does. Oh, it did something. So this is, I guess, 207. I don't know what I get. Oh, so for the price, the increase from this point to this point is $207. So I normally don't use this. This was a recent update. I don't use it, but it's a lot of really great stats. From this point to this point, it was an increase of 9%, almost 10%. And then you can just go and click on this and see, you know, what it does. 19 bars for that one. And then distance. So it just kind of gives you the angle. A lot of really great information. Let's go ahead and take this off. Let's do the middle point, I guess, and leave those off. Now, if you wanted it to where it extends to the right, you can also save as a template, whatever you like, and then make sure to hit the save button after you're done. Save as. So we're going to say cancel, and we delete it. Now let's go to another tool. One of my favorites is my curve tool. So with the curve tool, I'm going to take off my magnet tool, and I'm going to click and drag. I'm going to click and move my cursor. And now I have this as my curve tool. Now let's say I'm trying to do double bottoms. So curve tool, once again, it's highlighted over here. You can click and then click again. It draws it like this. Now, let's say you're trying to do a double top. Right now, I'm trying to move my price and my chart, and it doesn't move. Not to worry, we come over here, double arrows come out, we can move this, and then now it moves. Now let's say I want to label a double top. All I have to do is click from the right and go to the left. As simple as that sounds, that was a game changer for me, because instead of doing this and then having to do, for example, I would do this to this, and then I would get this and then move it up. So instead of doing that, now I just go from right to left. Oh, now one of my favorite ones is my price range tool. Now for a price range tool, if you want, you can adjust this to where the label is larger. Mine's 14, but you can make this super large, even larger, and even larger. Now for me personally, I would really like for this to be gone. I only want this. However, they don't have that, at least not in this update. I'm not sure why they have it, but there's, for visibility, all these are always checked. If you don't want it showing up on other time frames, I'm guessing that's what this does. It won't show there. I don't know. I've never messed with it. Don't need to. But I would really like to see this gone so I can just have a really nice clean percentage. But I haven't found a way to remove that. And then if you want to adjust this name, you can click this and adjust the name. I never do because, well, that's what it is. Everything that I say is from experience. This is what's going to save you so much time, so much money, and so much effort. If you want to make money, I will show you how. I would strongly recommend getting the VIP. You're going to make money. Now, granted, none of this is financial advice. It's never hopes and dreams and empty promises, nothing like that. See what I do. See if this makes you money. I give you my real life experience based off of my trainings, based off of my teachings, what I would do at that moment versus what everybody else does, because they want to sell you their course. They want to sell you all that stuff. I show you that my stuff works. Do we win? Yes. Do we lose? Sometimes. That's part of the game. But what I do is I show you all this so that you can see, oh man, I lost today, but Joe said he lost too. So it's okay. That's what I want you to realize, guys. If you like the content that I provide, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and leave me a comment in the comment box. And I'll see you on the next video. And as always, let's make this money.